I was in the store the other day, and I've noticed this a lot since I've started, becoming an adult and going out on my own, or even with my family. I noticed that no one ever looks you in the face and smiles to you anymore. And the only people that do are typically older people. And it makes me happy, when they smile and I ask them how their day is and they say good, and then they talk to me and my kids. It's such like a warming feeling, and it's a feeling that as humans I think we're losing. Anyone my age, or even like 30 and below, even 45 and below, a lot of people are addicted to their phone. They don't even know how to have a real interaction anymore, and they don't want to. Everyone's always in a rush. Like, I was going there to the store and I was looking all around me, and I didn't have my phone out. I always write my shopping list down on a piece of paper. I don't use my phone. I don't want to be distracted, and everyone is in a rush. The only people never in a rush are the older people. They're never in a rush. They're the ones that are actually happy to be alive, it seems, at least. And I just think we need more of that. They're always so surprised whenever they look at me and I'm making eye contact and smiling and taking the time to speak with them. And you never know what people are going through, so you should always try to at least smile. You never know what your smile could do for somebody. You never know how that could make their day. And I think it's completely true. And I just look all around, and it's like the humanity in us is dying. And I made a video before titled "Humanity is Going Extinct," and I just think that's one of the best ways to put it, really, because what does it mean to be human? There are so many things that make humanity what it is, and one of those things is socializing and talking and interacting, and that's just fading away. Every person that walked by, the only people that would make eye contact and smile and talk were older people. So I just started thinking about how the world's going to be in just a few years when those people are gone. It's going to be quite dystopian. It's going to feel, I think, quite apocalyptic. I've never been depressed. I can't say I've ever been depressed, but I think that this thought is the closest to feeling depressed I could ever feel. And it's just a really chilling thought to think about. I think a lot of the older people in this world are some of the last bits of color we have left, and without them, I think there's going to be much more of an impact in the day-to-day for aware people than we realize. Some of the best stories I've ever heard come from my older family members or older people that I know. When I used to have a business, my older clients were always the best clients. They would talk with you. They would offer you things. They would be genuinely interested in your life and what you had to say. And another part of that is just the attention spans of even people nowadays, like 60 or 50, is fried from social media, from algorithms, from phones. You can't have a conversation with anyone nowadays and feel like they're actually paying attention. I realize this every single time I go around people. So if you pay attention to what I'm saying, it really stands out to me. Like 90% of the people I have an interaction with on a daily or weekly basis, they are not paying attention to a thing I'm saying. It's a struggle, and you always feel like you have to say something interesting or intriguing, or even like say a hook in real life to get someone's attention to listen to you. Or if I'm in the middle of saying something or a story, in the middle of that conversation, I have to feel like I need to get their attention again. I have to say something. Yo, are you listening? Just checking to see if you're still listening. And that's exhausting. It's not meant to be that way. It's like robots. Robots are going to be more interesting to talk to than real humans. And that's a scary thing to think about. That is truly terrifying. Because robots can be programmed to be addicting, just like social media, just like these algorithms. And it's crazy to imagine a reality where I could have a better conversation with a robot than with a person, because a person's brain is so fried. And there's things that we can do to reverse that damage in our brains to get that, attention span back up and become interesting and thoughtful and deep again. But most people aren't willing to do that work. I'll even sit here and admit it. Ever since I had my baby, I became a lot more addicted to my phone. And part of that was because I would be laying down a lot of the times with nothing to do, trying to put her to sleep, and I couldn't get up and be active and create or do things. But I remember when she was first born, I downloaded TikTok again, and I actively knew it was a big mistake because it's so addicting. So sometimes I'll go on TikTok purposely just to see how quick my attention gets taken by the algorithm for like a mental test. It's interesting. Try it yourself. Open TikTok and challenge your brain not to get addicted to the algorithm and see how much you can control yourself. Now you might say that's easy because TikTok's filled with garbage, and quite frankly that's true. But there's been some times where I've slipped into that trance of just doom scrolling, and it's scary because someone who is aware of it can still get consumed by it. And you only need to get consumed a couple times before you're already drowning in it. And it's not easy to save yourself. And no one's going to pull you out of it because no one thinks it's a problem, which makes it even bigger problem because no one's actively fighting it. And then when you fight it, you feel crazy and alone and empty in a way because no one else sees the same problems that you see, which isn't easy to live. It isn't easy to live like that, but once you live that way, I don't think you could truly ever go back to being an NPC. You can't go back unless you're a drug addict because, it's like putting on the rose-colored glasses. Once you put them on, can you ever take them off? Once you see something the way that it truly is, you can't see it the way you saw it before. And I'm not saying anything new here. It's just the way that my brain is going in this video. And I just think it's important as individuals to constantly be doing self-work, constantly be self-analyzing and identifying issues and things that we can make better. If you're not doing that, you are actively just being another NPC. You are actively just being a programmed robot, a programmed member of society. You are being what the system wants you to be. You are being a product of the system. And I think we can never truly be free. We're always going to be enslaved to something. But again, the key is always making it a top priority to self-analyze and adjust where you need to adjust and become a better version of yourself for the world. Even if that means just putting on a smile in the grocery store when everyone is cutting you off, when everyone is in a rush. Be that rock. Put that smile on, make the eye contact. You can make one person's day better. And you could even invite the opportunity for a genuine conversation. I've had elderly people literally ask me, how am I so happy? Because most of the people my age that they see are never happy or never paying attention. They are literally admiring the fact that I'm paying attention in the grocery store, which is sad because why is this even a thing? So it's like small things like that can really make a difference. I think it's quite sad and quite ironic that we have the most access and the most ways to communicate in history, in human history. But we're the worst generation to communicate. Most people don't even know how to have a conversation. It's too scary for them. Without drugs or alcohol or some type of influence, they can't have a conversation. They can't be interested. They cannot give you their attention. It's crazy. It's scary. It's insane. And even just the thought of knowing that most people spend more time staring at a screen that is terrible for their bodies to look at all day, every day, by the way. Most people spend time staring at a screen instead of staring into somebody else's eyes having a conversation. That is crazy to think about. And it's too normalized. Like, this is something that's a problem that most people don't realize how big of a problem it is. I just think it's super important to be more aware, and I hope that even just one person watching this video can maybe be inspired to take action in some way, whether that be deleting some apps on your phone or really prioritizing discipline on real life relationships and nurturing those instead of your social media relationships. I would prefer you to stop watching YouTube and stop watching my channel and go out and make some real relationships and invest in those than to, be a dedicated fan and have my notifications on and like every video and comment. That's how important this topic is to me. Go out there, make real connections, talk about problems, stop being scared to be who you are, stop being scared to talk about things. I'll tell you right now, I'm not scared of it. I will go to any social event and I will 100% authentically be myself. I'm not going to adapt to fit in. I'm not going to do it. And I'm not scared about who I'm going to scare away for being myself because I know I'm doing what is right. Even if you don't agree with somebody and their opinion, it doesn't mean that you have to cut them out. It doesn't mean you can't have a conversation with them. You should be having conversations. It's healthy to debate. It's healthy to learn about different ideas and to share those and to, have healthy arguments and stuff like that. So don't be scared to say what you want to say, to be who you are, to learn about other people. And the most important thing you can do is do your part to bring back humanity to a robotic world. Blaise Pascal said that all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. And I think maybe that's why we can't even smile anymore. Everybody's mind is somewhere else. Everybody's mind is on something else. It's on the next decision they're going to make. It's on what they're going to eat next. It's mentally scrolling Instagram, not being able to wait to get home to watch a TV show, worrying about checking your emails, worrying about responding to texts, just worrying about tomorrow instead of actively living in the present moment. The next time you're in a grocery store, look somebody in the eyes and smile. Try asking the cashier how they're doing, how's their day going. Because when we lose that, not if, but when we lose those tiny human connections, we will have all the technology in the world, but we'll still end up completely alone.